I'm working very hard on bringing justice for my daughter, and it is coming. It is going to happen.
What do you think happened? I'm shocked. I do not know. I don't need an attorney. I haven't asked for an attorney. I don't need none of that. I'm innocent.
Yep, that's him.
Where's Crystal Rogers? This morning, we're shining a spotlight on the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Could a new test help get closer to finding out what really happened to her? The Kentucky mother of 5 disappeared in 2015, never to be seen again. Crystal's car was found abandoned with a flat tire in Bardstown, Kentucky. Her then boyfriend, Houck, was charged with her murder 8 years after she disappeared. Police also charged Steve Lawson, an employee of Houck's, and his son Joseph in connection to the case. They'll all be standing trial later on this year. Now, Crystal's keys, her phone, and her purse were all found inside of her Chevy Impala, and also inside 2 strands of hair. So now authorities are testing those hairs, and we're wondering what we could possibly learn. We're so pleased to welcome back on the program forensic death investigator, professor, and the host of the Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan. Professor Joe, good morning and welcome back. Talk to us, if you would, please, about what you think we can possibly glean from this new testing.
You know, the most important thing, Julie, by the way, thank you, my friend, for having me. The most important thing, I think, that pops up in this is that they've already said that these 2 hairs do not belong to her. And that's rather intriguing, isn't it? So for me, they've already gone some distance in assessing the hair. And, you know, we can actually, in forensics, we can actually assess the morphology of the hair without using it up to, for lack of a better term, relative to DNA testing. So you can go in and look at hair, and Crystal obviously had probably dyed hair, this blonde hair. We can pick up on that. We can look and see how long it's been since her hair was treated, for instance, relative to the growth of the hair. And we can eliminate perhaps her from this, just simply based on morphology. The key here is that any other actors that are involved in her disappearance, particularly those that are outside of her immediate circle, let's say if it's a known associate of one of the other people that was in the car, you would not expect their hair to be in there. And so that's left me very intrigued about this. I've actually covered this case on my podcast, Body Bags, back in May, and as well as not just Crystal, but the death or the murder of her father as well.
Right. I wanted to ask you about that, and it's an excellent episode you did. I listened to it, Joe, and anybody interested in the case should listen to it as well. Tommy Ballard, Crystal's dad, as you know, was her biggest champion and trying to find whomever killed her. And then he's killed, and we still don't have answers with his case, do we?
No, we don't. And, you know, the really horrific part to Tommy's murder is the fact that, you know, you've got a grandson that's going out with his papa to go hunting, all right? And this was actually done with grandson there. Just let that sink in just for a second, how cold-blooded this is. And the other thing is that they were out on his property, and it is, in order to set up a hide, like if you're going to snipe somebody, that would require you to have intimate knowledge of, first off, the path that he might take, heading off into the woods there to go hunt. And you would have to get in there and hide yourself to the point where you're not going to draw attention, and then escape to get out of there without being detected. And for me, that is one of the most chilling elements about this case, that someone would go to these lengths to kill this precious man in front of his grandson is something that, you know, really gives you pause.
Right. You're right. It does, Professor Joe. I keep thinking, as we're talking about how there have been so many issues raised in this case that kind of make us think answers are coming, and then we don't hear much. For instance, Houck, Crystal's boyfriend at the time, has a brother named Nick Houck, who was a police officer. I know you're very familiar. He's no longer a police officer. And During Brooks Houck's arraignment, prosecutors said they were waiting for testing to come back on a firearm that they believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard. And police said they got that gun in a sale from Nick Houck. He was trying to sell that gun and sold it to an undercover agent. We still haven't heard about the testing with that gun. Why do you think that is, Joe?
I'm thinking that maybe the testing, there's a couple of ways you can look at it. Maybe the testing was inconclusive, that the round that they were able to recover from Tommy may have, and this does happen, may have been so deformed that they weren't able to pick up on any kind of rifling in there or anything that could be matched back to that specific weapon. Or, you know, you cagey attorneys out there, they might be holding back some of this data at this point in time. But, you know, we're fast approaching a time for a trial, so I would imagine that that test would be something that would, you know, could be found in discovery. You know, the state has to disclose that to the defense counsel. So I don't have a firm answer, but I can tell you those are some of the outcomes I've witnessed over the years.
Right. You know, that's a great educated guess. Professor, tell me, when we think about the case overall, and just there's been so much suspicion for so long, so much speculation, so much interest, do you think that these investigators are on the right track with who they've got behind bars right now?
Yeah, I do. I think they do. And the fact that Crystal has never been found, I think that she has been buried somewhere by someone that had use and access to heavy equipment, concrete, those sorts of things, in order to just essentially make her disappear.
Seems like what's happened physically, she has disappeared. But as you know, Joey, and you've you know, are such a beloved member of the true crime community, we want to keep her name alive, her memory alive.
Yes, we do.
And we hope that she and her family get the justice they deserve. Professor Joseph Scott Morgan, you need to go see your students at Jacksonville State University this morning. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Julie.
We'll look forward to having you back soon.